We need to be more self-sufficient and stop falling for the fear tactics of the medical industry. There is a doctor that I ran across on somebody's Instagram, Bitaderi Berry. I've definitely butchered that. But they've been trying to kill us, y'all. And you know who they are. And at the end of the day, it's like I realized so many things that I'll discuss after this video that we can do to be better, but we could do on our own, and we really don't even need these medicines and stuff like that they make it seem like we need. Like they have all these degrees, but they try to make it seem like they don't have cures for things. So let's go into the video.
It's not an overstatement to say that I learned virtually nothing at Stanford Medical School about the tens of thousands of scientific papers that elucidate these root causes of why American health is plummeting and how environmental factors are causing it. For instance, in medical school, I did not learn that for each additional serving of ultra-processed food we eat, early mortality increases by 18%. This now makes up 67% of the foods our kids are eating. I took 0 nutrition courses in medical school. I didn't learn that 82% of independently funded studies show harm from processed food, while 93% of industry-sponsored studies reflect no harm. In medical school, I didn't learn that 95% of the people who created the recent USDA food guidelines for America had significant conflicts of interest with the food industry. I did not learn that 1 billion pounds of synthetic pesticides are being sprayed on our food every single year, 99.
There was a video, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was on TikTok of this dude who, I'm gonna put the video up, who sprayed the fruits with, I think it was like bug spray. And I thought it was so ironic because they were freaking out about it. I mean, yes, obviously, why would you do that? But besides the idiocy that is, and just plain evil, they're already sprayed with pesticides. Like that's crazy. Like they're already doing the most, even organic products. They find their way into everything. Once they find out that something is healthy and people are trying to look deeper into this world is wicked. This government is evil. They will literally go, all right, we need to create something that has 10 pounds of sugar in it. So off the simple fact, and I don't even think it's, oh, they trying to cut corners, because for example, soursop, absolutely delicious, comes from, well, I don't know if that's the main place to come from, but I have a Jamaican background, so soursop juice, so delicious. You don't need, it's already sweet. You do not need to add anything to soursop juice. Soursop juice is already lit. But I saw in the grocery store, they have they made their own brand of soursop juice because people are looking into their health, and they put mass sugar in it. Why do you need to put sugar in it? Like, you do not need to add and it pisses me off so much because for time and time again, we be here and we have to deal with so much on a daily basis. And yet y'all literally try to find a way, and it's not, oh, it's cheaper. Y'all literally just want to kill us slowly. But you'll be surprised that these herbs out here can revert so much and can heal so much. What God created is powerful. Don't ever sleep on that. Don't ever sleep on it.
99% of the farmland in the United States is sprayed with synthetic pesticides, many from China and Germany. And these invisible, tasteless...
Not slick. In Jamaica, they use Scotch bonnet peppers to deter bugs, so you don't need to spray all these chemicals on crops.
Chemicals are strongly linked to autism, ADHD, sex hormone disruption, thyroid disease, sperm dysfunction, Alzheimer's, dementia, birth defects, cancer, obesity, liver dysfunction.
Wow. And they're not teaching any of this in medical school. That's crazy. And it's crazy because also things like I heard about how China treat their own people. Like they be like, they for example, they literally will spray, and they do that here too. They'll spray the meat to make it look red, but they also have like certain prized possessions there, like certain animals that if they're a certain color, they sell for higher. So they will legit like paint the animals, spray paint on the animals, and they don't even care. They don't even care. So you can only imagine they getting these pesticides from China, and it's like they don't even treat their own people correct. So it's like that's just wild.
Liver dysfunction, female infertility, and more, all by hurting our metabolic health. I did not learn that the 8 billion tons of plastic that have been produced just in the last 100 years, plastic was only invented about 100 years ago, are being broken down into microplastics that are now filling our food, our water, and we are now even inhaling them in our air. And that very recent research from just the past couple of months tells us that now about 0.5% of our brains by weight are now plastic. I didn't learn that there are more than 80,000 toxins that have entered our food, water, air, and homes by industry, many of which are banned in Europe, and they are known to alter our gene expression, alter our
Oh, it says best part is the last line. Oh, snap.
microbiome composition and the lining of our gut, and disrupt our hormones. I didn't learn that heavy metals like aluminum and lead are present in our food, our baby formula, personal care products, our soil, and many of the mandated medications, and that these metals are neurotoxic and inflammatory. I didn't learn that the average American walks a paltry 3,500 steps per day, even though we know, based on science and top journals, that simply walking 7,000 steps a day slashes by 40 to 60% our risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and obesity. I certainly did not learn that medical error and medications are the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States. I didn't learn that just 5 nights of sleep deprivation can induce full-blown prediabetes. I learned nothing about sleep, and we're getting about 20% less sleep on average than we were 100 years ago. I didn't learn that American children are getting less time outdoors now than a maximum security prisoner.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. It brings up something that because I used to do Uber. There was a guy, he in the army. He said the men now that are like in training are like they break their bones so easily. They're weaker. And in their armies they're being brainwashed, but they don't even care that their own men are getting weaker. Shouldn't be fighting for a business that doesn't care about you. That's because you're not getting the I think it's vitamin D, which is supposed to build up your bones that outside, because everybody's busy playing video games and stuff like that. I have to push myself to go outside and whatever the case is, because and they do this stuff on purpose. They do this stuff on purpose. They bog you down with so much obstacles to really just make it a challenge for you to try to live healthy. It's absolutely evil. I can't wait till Jesus come back.
And on average, adults spend 93% of their time indoors, even though we know from the science that separation from sunlight destroys our circadian biology, and circadian biology dictates our cellular biology. I didn't learn that professional organizations that we get our practice guideline from, like the American Diabetes Association and American Academy of Pediatrics, have taken tens of millions of dollars from Coke, Cadbury, processed food companies, and vaccine manufacturers like Moderna.
Wow. Like, that's why I knew that because there's two, like if you look at even like the presidential inauguration and stuff, like people like Elon Musk is like best buddies with Trump. Like, how is that? Like, that's not a red flag. Like, y'all all are just buddies and everything, and then we just out here the 99% just out the loop, right? But if you have God, you in the loop. You don't have to be in nobody's loop in this world, okay? And I just wanted to say real quick, like, science is them trying to figure out what God created. So at the end of the day, all of these things that we need, sunlight, we need to walk, we need to exercise, we need to move. He created us like this. Like, he knows. Like, we know that when we walk, run, we exercise, we outside. I remember being a kid, I was outside a lot, and I used to go ride. I used to complain about it, like, oh, I have to ride my bike to practice, I gotta do this. But realizing now, like, I need to get a bike again. Like, that was fun.
Oil and many of the mandated medications like vitamins, and that these metals are neurotoxic and inflammatory. I didn't learn that the average American walks a paltry 3,500 steps per day, even though we know, based on science and top journals that simply walking 7,000 steps a day slashes by 40 to 60% our risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and obesity. I certainly did not learn that medical error and medications are the third leading cause of death in the United States. I didn't learn that just 5 nights of sleep deprivation can induce full-blown
Yeah, if you look into GI bleeding, that's caused from taking medication for over years and years and years. So the medications that they give you, they're not good for you. Tylenol, that's terrible for your gut.
prediabetes. I learned nothing about sleep. And we're getting about 20% less sleep on average than we were 100 years
I
ago.
don't work so much.
I didn't learn that American children are getting less time outdoors now than a maximum security prisoner. And on average, adults spend 93% of their time indoors, even though we know from the science that separation from sunlight destroys our circadian biology, and circadian biology dictates our cellular biology. I didn't learn that professional organizations that we get our practice guideline from, like the American Diabetes Association and American Academy of Pediatrics, have taken tens of millions of dollars from Coke, Cadbury, processed food companies, and vaccine manufacturers like Moderna. I didn't learn that if we address these root causes that all lead to metabolic dysfunction and help patients change their food and lifestyle patterns with united, strong voice, we could reverse the chronic disease crisis in America, save millions of lives and trillions of dollars in healthcare costs per year. Instead, doctors are learning that the body is 100 separate parts, and we learn how to drug, we learn how to cut, and we learn how to bill. It's not an overstatement.
Yeah, that's wild. And the comments, for some reason, are also limited on this. That you gotta have, like, the medical systems that's run by Satan. So Satan is a coward. He wants you to be he uses fear. He lies to you in order to get you to do what he wants you to do, and constantly dealing with health issues, all these different things. He wants you to get to the end of your life as soon as possible, so that you don't have the opportunity to to ask for forgiveness, to create a relationship with Jesus, to actually have the ability to live eternity in happiness. Because he's salty, he's mad, he's about to be on some. It's about to be crazy for him. It's about to be crazy for him. So of course, misery love company. He wants to bring down as much people as possible. So if you don't open your eyes and you don't look and see all of the warning signs, all of the things that's going on, we're not promised tomorrow. Definitely not promised tomorrow living in this place. I mean, everywhere you look, you try to get spring water. Now they try to tamper with that. You try to get anything that's good for you. They try to find a way. There you see them burning down land, and I'm hearing all of this stuff and trying to build up these smart cities and creating and trying to limit. They already have limited people that farm. If you go to a hospital, any fruits that they have there, they put them through extensive radiation. They put our foods through radiation too, but they claim they don't do it as much as hospitals. But if you wondering, like, you go to a hospital and it's just not a good place. It's cold, it's sterile, it don't feel good. It's just a bad vibe altogether. There's a reason for that. So not only are they spraying our fruits and vegetables with pesticides, but they're also microwaving it. Half the time I'll be going to the grocery store and I'm just like, Dad, what's the point? What is even the point anymore to get organic or anything like that? I'm not saying that organic things aren't good and there aren't good sources potentially, but they're, like I said, making their way into a lot of things somehow. That's why it's like the best thing that you could do is try to, well, of course, God is the only one that's going to save you. But as far as like using your money as a defense, getting land so that you could grow your food out the ground yourself. And it's not easy. Yes, you've grown up and you've lived on these things, but you can maneuver it one step at a time. Get rid of the Tylenol, replace it with ginger. Ginger is so good for headaches, for any pain, for toothaches, all of that. Just boil a tea, boil a pot of ginger. You're overthinking it because they've advertise their propaganda for so long that you think that the only thing that can help that pain, the only thing that's strong enough to help that pain is Tylenol, and that's a lie. Ginger is super powerful and works wonders. There's more things, the herbs, just do your research. I'll also be talking about a lot of this on this channel as well. So if you do like content like this, please hit the like button, let YouTube know, subscribe, and so we could push out the positivity, so we could push out the truth, so we could push out stepping forward and not looking back. Because these people, they baby formula has all that's something too. Like baby formula, I would not advise you get baby formula. You have the formula already, girl. You women out there, you got the juice. Like you have the juice. You have that breast milk is gold. You don't need any of this stuff like at all. Like you good. Men out there, you don't need these doctors, because when a woman goes in a hospital, especially if you are melanated, we have the highest mortality rate. Like it is a blessing that I was able to deliver my children. That's one of my regrets, that looking back, is going to a hospital, but lessons learned, and God will protect you. God protected me. It was so many blessings that was going on. So I'm here to say I wouldn't recommend it. Natural at-home birth, that would have been so beautiful. I recommend looking into that, because this world will lead you to think that you don't have the power to do certain things, but God gave you dominion over all of this. Put your head up, because we've been living in this, putting our head down and living in fear and uncertainty. But when you have the Most High, he is absolute. You're going to exhibit the traits of your Father. And you also are going to understand that your Father, if God is for you, then who can be against you? You're going to realize that these quote unquote giants that are out there, not even microscopic compared to our God. But choose wisely. I gotta tell myself this too. It's sugar is more addicting than the other white stuff. It's a battle, but as long as you woke up, you were able to do this, God is giving you an opportunity. God is giving you a chance. God has you here for a reason. Push, strive. You're gonna fall short. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna stumble. You're gonna fall. You're gonna be confused at some points, but then you gotta make sure and remember. And we gotta come together, like-minded people. Like, this world is changing drastically. There's not gonna be too many people that are on the same page or any of that. I really want to know what y'all have to say. And I'm just starting out. I've just been in this journey. Like, I'm not usually, like, I was the shy kid in class. Like, I'm trying to get out of my own head with certain things, but I really do want to hear what you have to say, and I appreciate the support. And if we could come together and help each other learn and correct what needs to be corrected, give insight, or whatever the case is, we can do that together, because the world is already against us. They tried to divide and conquer, and they've been succeeding. But let's come together and really get things going. Like, let's be free. But with that being said, create a relationship with the Most High, value your virtue, and pick up your Bible. He's the only